Okay. Can we pause?
Pause it.
No, no, it's okay.
It's okay.
I got a call from head office. Okay. Hi.
So
Hello.
round.
See you
Your
in
bags are outside.
an hour.
Typical.
Do not disturb. Right. Okay. We're ready.
We're on. We're still. Do you want to stop the recording again?
No, no, no. Carry on. Carry on. All part of the.
It's all part of
Listen, we're talking about Tariq Zahid today, and Tariq is an activist, a justice campaigner, and he's been the victim of some fake court procedures and even been to jail. So things took a turn when he started to ask the various parties for the prosecution and ask the probation for the court order on which they got him under probation, and nobody can produce anything. So we gotta let Tariq do his thing, but it's just an update on the journey and the quest for justice, questa justice.
Literally.
So tell us, Tariq, how did it all start? You had a restaurant, I know, but we come to the restaurant later. But how did you get involved in all this nonsense of false prosecution, arrest, imprisonment, everything? How did it kick off?
7 years ago that began. Marriage breakdown. I just began to find out very early on things were not right. When you were asking questions, they ignored you. So I had to go deep in the legal world just to find out how they are operating. How do they get away with what they are getting away with? So it was only when Baron sent me this case law, which I read into it, and I thought, right, the lien is the way forward. You got to understand what a securitized lien is.
David Barr, the late
Baron David Ward, yeah, and he was the one that sent it to me. So if we talk about warrants, 18 months ago, there were 4 outstanding warrants, allegedly in my name, that Surrey wanted to execute. So the warrants manager of Surrey Police said that there are 4 outstanding warrants. Please call me. We need to organize this. Fine. I'm happy to speak to you, but send me the warrants so I know that there are 4 alleged warrants, real warrants. I never saw them. Now, Robin Whitehead, who's the warrants manager, tried a very dirty move. He even tried to contact a member of my family to try and get me, or so they can tick their boxes to say, we have made our attempt. He's not listening to us, so we will now have to execute the warrants. And eventually they did. So these 4 warrants that I have outstanding, eventually they did arrest me. But prior to my arrest, I put a notice out, just a post out on Facebook, said, can someone help me regarding these warrants? How can you deal with it? Oh, it was Baron David Ward that just sent me his case law with a little note saying there are no warrants, they don't exist. Just simple. So then I started to read his affidavit. I only had to go into his affidavit a few pages out of the 65 pages because I come across the word lien. Prior to one of the court hearings 7 years ago, which was regarding my ex-wife, I was prepared to walk in and destroy that case. But 2 days before the case, I came across some legal material regarding what our position is in the courtroom, what the judge's position, what the CPS is, and how it operates. And the word lien came up, securitized lien. So, but I didn't have enough time to go into it deeply. I was already prepared in the common law route. I won in the end, but our paths did cross at that point. And if we did get to meet then, we would have been much further ahead of the game in terms of bringing the establishment down. Now,
well, I don't want to bring down anything or anybody. I wanna uplift. I want to uplift the people including the bad guys. Everybody.
Well, we got to remove the bad apples.
I know what you mean.
Replace them with good apples.
We want to uplift humanity, you know.
Well, yeah.
We can't go around. We can't go around locking each other in little boxes, saying we have court orders. I mean, that's just not the way to run a society. So hopefully, we can aspire to a more you know, higher level situation. So yeah, so you won the case on that time.
Oh yeah, it was a battle for 4 years it went on for, but in the end I destroyed them. I was exonerated, even though I had to spend a total of 4 months in prison. So the amount of times I spent in prison fighting the system, just asking questions, can you please produce? Probably almost 8 months over a 5-year period.
And they can't produce jack. I mean, let's just put it right down. Let's put it right down to what you're asking them to produce. The prosecution. They have
lay of information.
Yeah, and they can't produce it. So okay, so take us forward a little bit now. You've had several battles, But
Let's go back to March. Let's begin in March, where I was arrested regarding an individual, and on the 2nd
no. Can I interrupt you? We go back a little bit more because you had a restaurant just before the lockdown.
Oh yes, which was then.
What was your restaurant called? What?
Organicus Boutique.
Organicus.
Organicus. It was a plant-based organic food, drinks.
And where was that?
Alongside my gallery, my work that I produced over the years. So it was a mixture.
Right.
And yeah, it was a local community, and all my supplies were coming from the local businesses, just along one whole stretch of the road, the famous Roman road.
And when you say your gallery, what do you mean? Your gallery of what?
It was a gallery of my works that I produced.
What kind of work?
All artwork, geometric patterns, tiling, etc.
Right. So you got your artists, and you had a vegan restaurant.
And I mixed it in with the food, exactly.
And
at the same time.
And your landlord.
Oh yes, let's go to him. Famous.
We're leaving out the best thing, isn't it? Your landlord happened to be the former councillor. Which area was this?
In Kensington and Chelsea councillor.
Kensington and Chelsea.
Royal Borough, the Royal Borough.
Royal Prince Edward Borough.
Yes.
Jimmy Savile. So let me try and pull up something on him. But yeah, he was your landlord, and then he apparently wanted your property for his own reasons, wanted his property back from you.
It was unfortunate. I didn't have to deal with the man because I was dealing with the leaseholder. But in the end, the leaseholder passed away, so I had to then deal with him directly. So then that then became really a battle.
So, well, in the long and short of it, a Marston's bailiff came round. Is that correct? And said he had a warrant.
Yes. I closed my business up at midnight, 1 o'clock. Very tired, went to cash up. I was downstairs in the basement. It was one of those days you're just so tired you have no energy to do anything. I actually fell asleep.
Right.
And I was awoken and disturbed by noises, male voices. And there was no lights. My phone was dead. I couldn't see, didn't know what to do. So I just went and hid. I had no choice because I don't know what was happening. It felt like I was being burgled. So I thought, look, there's 3 or 4, maybe 5 voices up there, men up there. I thought, I have nothing. I don't know what's up there. It could be tooled up. So luckily I brought my money down, the cash. And I hid, and 1 or 2 men came downstairs into the basement to try and find out if anyone was around, and it left. But I stayed in that little cubbyhole position for about 2 hours. I was hearing noises upstairs, banging, etc. It was like tools. I don't know what was going on. It was as if they were just trying something or trying to steal everything. But I just thought, right, okay, no problem. The police station is just 100 yards down the road. I get 200-300 police cars and ambulances and fire brigades go past my shop. Surely someone will be able to catch them. Anyway, it went silent. I went upstairs to open up my shop and to look around to see if everything was fine. Everything seemed normal. Nothing was out of place. So I thought, where were these men? And I just thought, maybe did I accidentally leave the door open, because above my business is an Airbnb. So that's the landlord's property.
Right.
So he rents an Airbnb. So I was getting people from all over the world who are my customers. Hence why I did get COVID.
So it did help. It did help you.
Yeah. So I assume that maybe because it's the business connected and he's placed that on his Airbnb site of the customers to say, look, you can now go in and get a discount off Organicus Boutique for your food. All the customers did eat from me. But then they'd left. I went upstairs. I went to have a look around. Nothing was out of place. I thought, I'll open up early. It's 7 o'clock. Catch the early crowd. I couldn't get out of my shop.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Not I was locked in.
Whoa.
My own business, locked in. So you've heard of the term breaking and entering. No, there was breaking and entering.
No. This is
not even breaking and entering.
Else.
I was just getting out of my own property.
No, it's something else. What's it called, Andrew? There's a name for it. If you lock somebody,
breaking and exiting.
Breaking and exiting.
No, but if you lock someone against their will in in a van or in a house or a garage, or there's a name for it. That's kidnapping, isn't it?
It's a form of kind of kidnapping, but you haven't been taken. You've just you've been taken. Not even a ransom. There's a certain of ransom. I want my shop back, otherwise.
Well, you've been deprived. You've been deprived of your freedom of movement because you couldn't come and go. Yeah.
So I opened the business up.
Yeah.
Customers were coming through, serving as normal. The landlord turns up around about 2 in the afternoon, lunchtime. It's about time. He goes, I'm going to call the police. He did. 2 police officers. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. There was 4 warrants outstanding, allegedly. I wasn't sure the position that they were in. That was in regarding the warrants. Would I be arrested? So I had to just clear my expensive tools just in case I was taken, and that was it. So I took what I needed to and dropped it off next door neighbours, who's a customer. So can you please look after them? 2 police officers come. Here's the scene. So it was a black man.
Hang on. What wasn't there a Marston's bailiff?
Yes. What happened was they left a note on the window to say that you have 2 weeks to leave the property by a specific date. Right,
and that's their warrant.
Arrested. So that was literally their order. There was nothing else. I hadn't received any paperwork prior to that.
Yeah.
At all, and probably the reason is because I kicked the landlord out 6 weeks before, and that was at the time the London Bridge bombings occurred. So he came and visited me because we had to discuss money, etc. And I said, look, we haven't been able to trade this weekend. No one came. All the businesses had closed down early because they were all frightened. So he was expecting money. I said, you've got no money because I didn't trade this weekend. It was all quiet. And he said a racist comment about Muslims. If Muslims come over to this country, you should just get out. It was something along those lines. It was shocking. And it was lucky I had 2 of my customers who were downstairs in the basement, heard that comment. Right. So I just kicked him out. I said, get out. You're a racist. Get out. At that point, I didn't know he was a convicted paedophile either. I found out from customers. They said, watch out for him. He's been in the paper. He's on the internet. Just read up about him. So after that, we had no communication. He obviously gave instructions to his lawyer, the bailiffs, and said he had to get him removed. And there was no court process at all. So that's what happened. They changed the locks. Yeah. Placed a note out to say you have 2 weeks. And that was that. So I continued trading. I thought, I'm not listening to this because I have no paperwork. Unless there's no proper paperwork, this is not official. This is not legitimate. So 2 police officers come later on in front of my customers. So naturally, I was then being dealt with by the black police officer, while the white police officer was dealing with him, who's been the white man. It was just really strange because I have to explain this bit because I knew what was going to happen at that point.
They tend to put
he was speaking to the landlord.
If it's an ethnic, when you're an ethnic minority, they put an ethnic minority person to deal with.
Yeah, of course. This was it. I just knew what was happening.
All trick.
So whatever the landlord was saying to the police officer, because the police officer didn't get to see no paperwork. I didn't see no paperwork being pulled out. Because obviously,
Basically a warrant. There must be a warrant.
I asked for it. I go, listen, I don't know what's going on, but if this isn't a legal eviction, I want to see the paperwork. Can you ask him for it, please? Because this is all that's been left on the window. No paperwork has been produced by the courts or sent through, or haven't been served, giving me notice of any form. So whatever he said to the police officer, he came immediately over and spoke to the ethnic police officer. And whilst he was talking to him, I saw the look on his face, the reaction, whatever he said to me, and then his face just dropped. So he just knew that he had to then arrest me, which he did. It wasn't the white police officer, it was the coloured police officer had to arrest me. So he arrested me in front of my customers. You know, arrested, and then they took me, to the police station, which is 100 yards down the road to the right. Bethnal Green. The Bethnal Green being predominantly Bangladeshi, mixture.
Yeah.
So I went into the police station. I had zero ID, wallet, nothing. So as they were processing me, we're going to have to do some things. We need to do some checks. There's no checks that needs to be done. You've stolen me from my business in front of my customers. You've been told by someone that there is a paper warrant. Legitimacy to remove me from that business.
Say the word.
Warrant.
Say the word.
Warrant of execution. It's a warrant of execution. I want the paperwork.
Yeah.
But he goes, well, no. It's an allegation. We can do what we want. And this is an African. He was an African sergeant at that point. So at that time, I could only probably see one or two white people. The rest were Bangladeshi and blacks. So they processed me and then put me in the cell. Then 10 police officers came to the cell. Why did they need 10? Because obviously they had a feeling of what was going to occur, that I was going to refuse their offer. We need to fingerprint you. No, you're not fingerprinting me. I want to see all the paperwork first.
Yeah.
Okay? Anyway, so then 10 police officers then piled onto me, literally assaulted me. So there are injuries that have been uploaded.
Yeah, I've seen some photographs.
I was injured. And then the next day I was sent to the magistrate's court in Bow magistrates. So in the morning, funny thing was, I was actually just freshening up. I was on the toilet and the police officer picked me up whilst I was on the toilet. Can you believe it? And I said, what are you doing? And he was assaulting me while he was walking me to the transport lorry.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable what he was allowed to do and get away with. So they sent me to Bow. They tried to force legal onto me, as usual. I said, no, I'll present myself, thank you. So I walked into there and I said, can I have your name? I said, you're not getting my name. I turned around and lifted my top up like this, and they saw the injuries on my back. The Crown Prosecution, CPS, looked at the judge and said, scared. Quick.
Oh my God.
And the judge just looked at me and goes, are you free to go, Mr. Zahiv? I'm going, so what are you asking my name? Gone. Straight away. Rushed back to the shop.
Aye.
Just to find out what else had occurred. So he withheld all my items, all my other tools, etc. And it just assumed that appeared that he wasn't going to give my items back. But then eventually we got into some form of communication. And I just said, I just want my items back. That's it. You got your shop. That is it. I want my items back, please. So we arranged to have my items back. And, if you look at the images of on my Instagram page, my business and how it's set up, I did not receive the items back in that state. They were smashed to pieces on the high street with all my customers and everyone along the local parade witnessing what was occurring, and I couldn't believe it. And I go, well, if you're a paedophile, you're prepared to do and carry out any task, really.
Yeah.
So that was it. And then I just delved deeply into the legal world.
Yeah.
Even further. And the more deeper I go into the rabbit's hole, the more time I spend in HMP prison, working for the Queen.
Yeah.
Asking questions, asking for the warrants. You're making a claim, produce it to me, and I will be happy to contract with you and do business with you. Until that happens, you have no right to be coming to my home, terrorizing me, assaulting me, kidnapping me. But they do, because they can.
Yeah, because at all this time, they can't produce anything, but they still carry on. They don't seem to have any fear.
Well, no, because it's the system, isn't it? They've got a job to do, following orders. And
But I don't think they believe. I don't think they believe anyone knows or will come to discover anyone. You know, ordinary people. I think they all know amongst themselves that 90% of the alleged court orders and court proceedings are made up outside the system. It's not sealed, it's not signed, it's not been filed in the court. There is no computer record, there is no case management file. They're just telling you we have a warrant. They can never show it to you because they're going to show you a counterfeit document.
I was shown it once,
Yeah.
but it wasn't in paper form. This is when they smashed me out of my car on my drive.
Yeah.
On my drive. This is when many months had gone past. 6 months had gone past after I did what I had to do on paperwork communications, and I had nothing. All of a sudden, 4 police officers turned up on my drive. I was sitting in my car. I was actually on the phone to Baron at that time.
Yeah.
I go, Baron, they're going to smash me out of my car. He goes, I know they are. And he heard it all. He heard everything that was going on, and they were rough with me. Because these were the same officers that have come and arrested me numerous times.
Yeah.
So I said, you have a warrant, do you? Fine. I'm happy to open my car door and come with you in peace. Present it to me. Show me that warrant that you say has been issued by the court that gives you the legal authority to execute it. What did they do? What did they physically do? This is what they did. Where's the phone? This is all they did, like this.
Ah, yeah, there's the warrant.
That was it. So to them, they're what they call the PNC, the Police National Computer.
Mhm.
If anything is on the Police National Computer,
Yeah,
for them, that is it. That is a warrant that they can now execute.
but that's not a
They
warrant,
don't
is it?
physically have to have the warrant, a piece of paper with the judge's signature. No, if it's on the Police National Computer, that's a warrant. That's it. We're happy to
Yeah, but
execute it.
no, I understand. But the thing is, once there is a question mark on that, yeah,
Mhm.
then they have to they're supposed to investigate who put this in the computer when there is no warrant. You understand? That's a serious crime.
Well, it is. If it's issued by the court, who agreed it and which judge?
No, I let's just stick to the Police National Computer. If they have information on there that there's a warrant,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
and that comes into question,
Mhm.
then they must investigate who put the information that there is a warrant when there is no warrant.
That's true.
But that's a
Who's
major crime.
Who's recorded it into the Police National Computer?
Right, when there is no
It's
warrant.
simple. We can create a website, a national computer. It's the People's National Computer. Here's a warrant for the arrest of this police officer. It's easily done.
Yeah.
We can do it. So yes, it needs to investigate it. Absolutely. Which department agreed it? Which
Can we show your landlord who, let's share the screen a bit, who kick you out with a fake warrant? Is this guy here? This one. Let me make this bigger.
Here he is.
Graham Lamont. Yeah. And then
Andrew,
you
Andrew Lamont.
Andrew Lamont, yeah.
Andrew Lamont. Well, I'm saying Graham Lamont. And no, Andrew Lamont was the MP. I think, what's his name? Oh,
No, he's a
well,
councillor. He was a councillor.
Yeah. And then
The Raw Borough.
yeah, so this is a letter you wrote to the Croydon Magistrates Court,
Mhm.
where I personally had an incident, which we're going to bring up a little bit. So it's Croydon Magistrates Court, yeah?
Mhm.
Give me a copy of whatever was served, yeah?
Mhm.
And you put a link to this article with your counselor. So here we go. He was spared jail, but you went to jail and he was found guilty and spared jail. Tariq,
Yeah.
He's buggering children. He's buggering children, making up fake warrants, and he was spared jail. And you've been to jail and you're the victim.
Unbelievable. And the story of
Oh, it's Andrew Lamont, not Andrew Lamont. Yeah.
Andrew Lamont, the story behind it, if you read
Yeah.
case behind it and why he was spared. The reasoning, the joke is, I couldn't see what I was typing because he has a vision. Can you imagine? You couldn't see what he was typing. Show me the amount of copies of the Radio Times or the Beano that you had amongst the porn magazines, huh? Show me it.
Yeah.
One. You couldn't see what you were typing.
But
Unbelievable.
the thing is, we're finding more and more, it seems like the people making fake warrants, police, bailiffs, whatever, they're being exposed that they're somehow involved in child sexual abuse. That's the case with my case, and we're finding out with loads of other people's case, you know, George's case, your case. I don't know what, I think it needs a bit more research. If anyone is interested from an academic point of view and do a little research to see why there is this apparent link.
You can keep going on that. Carol Woods, John Patterson, so on and so forth.
I
mean, all of these all down to the fact that, I mean, as I said, this was the glue that bonded them all. Paedophilia was the glue that bonded.
It could be because, I mean, they're not arresting each other. So I'm going to share screen again quickly. Where are we? Zoom. I'm going to show you, I'm sure you've seen it before, but for the video, I'm going to show you the case we had in the Croydon magistrate. This thing should be put on a, we're going to put it up, keep saying we're going to put it on the internet. Where is it? Here it is. But it's not sharing, is it? Let us go back.
Well, I'd share.
Oh, share. Can you see that? Yeah, here it is now.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the last thing we had in the same court, Tariq, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We call this document the death of council
Death
tax.
of council tax.
We did a whole show on Sean Maguire with it. So here they said there is a summons, yeah? Account reference, account, you know, account means bank account, money. It's not a court case. Let me increase the size. Boom, boom. So they said they receive a complaint. A complaint is delay of information, yeah? For council tax. So they said if we don't cooperate, they're gonna apply for a bankruptcy order, yeah, court order scam or committal, which could lead to prison sentence with a big forged signature here. And it says justice's clerk. We don't, the justice's clerk is not named. We don't know who he is. So anyway, we write in and ask. They investigated it, apologize. Here is the investigation, Tariq. So I'm telling you, if we dig and pursue hard enough, we get the answer. I can confirm that the court did not issue proceeding against you. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they won't answer you, because this is the only correct answer they can give you. There is no prosecution against you. There is no application. You can't just get a warrant. It has to be an application, a request for the warrant. There's got to be an affidavit with it.
Due process.
Evidence, yeah? And all that is in the court's computer. So it's the same court here, Croydon Magistrate. You understand?
Was this the one that I read out?
Yeah, yeah, I think you had it.
I think this was the one I read out verbatim.
Yeah. So if we stop this one and we go to the probation, yeah, you've let's just go back here.
I have current
Share screen. Oh, am I still sharing screen? Share screen.
Oh, yeah.
So
so for the people out there, everything so far that's happened to Tariq has never been substantiated that any of it was authentic or valid.
All fraud. So
to this day.
That's right. Zero.
We just done a video with this lady called Mervily Nemard. So it's the same thing. She's facing hell from the probation. So she asked the probation for the court order because that's what authorizes the probation. They can't produce the court order. So you've written to the Kent, Surrey and Sussex CRC Community Relations Company Limited, Leslie Barry, asking, you know, simple, provide me a copy of the order. Simple, issued by the court.
That's right. It's simple, and look what they have done now. Let me show you this.
Wait, let's just finish this. You come up with that. Now, the court order is the instrument on which they are collecting money from the public purse that they're looking after a criminal or something, yeah, convicted criminal. So by collecting the money when they don't actually have a court order, can you see the crime here and the organized crime around? It's a lot of people eating and drinking off this court order, and that's why they have money to abuse children and all these things, because they got insane amount of money on all these fake court orders and the public purse. Nobody is looking. They just send these papers and collect, and that's part of the story. Tariq, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, it's regarding probation. So on my release from HMP Highdown, I went to probation and I presented all of the paperwork, copies of what I emailed to them, demanding all of this paperwork. So I was expecting a response or some form of paperwork to come through. No, lo and behold, this is what's happened. See that? This is what you call a breach.
They say you breached the order.
You have not. So another attempt to have me sent to prison. So you have failed on every occasion to respond, and this is the breach. And the dates in which they've said that I have breached. There's 3, 4 separate dates.
But Tariq, when they say breach, what do they mean?
Oh, you're going back to court.
No. That's not the right answer. They're saying you breached a court order. You're in breach of the court order, no? It doesn't say it on the paper.
Well, they use the term post-sentence supervision.
Yeah,
so
because they can't say all
different words.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That gives them the authority.
So you ask them, where is the court order I breach? I've asked you so and so date. You have to follow up, my friend.
That's right.
But let us see the signature page on that document.
You want to see the signature page in this document? Yeah. Good luck.
No signature. What do you say about that, Andy? No signature at all. This is threatening the man's freedom and liberty.
Jade Crumpler, responsible officer.
Yeah, those
responsible, are you?
Yeah. Now, tell us, Andy. The paper is not signed. What does that mean?
There's no authentic. There's no author.
No authority. So whatever they're doing to you is just violence.
Yeah. And anybody who enforces that.
Yeah, it's violence.
No authority because it's not authentic.
Yeah.
It's a counterfeit. It's as good as a counterfeit because it's got nothing. It's got no authority.
It's all sorts of things. Malicious communications. They're sending you through the mail. All this.
Well, it's threats, isn't it? But also, without a signature, there is no accountability.
Right. Because you can't tell them you signed this. They say, "Well, I don't know anything about it." But at one point, you were challenging something, and then all out of the blue, you had 2 people saying they want to do a mental health. You remember that one? They want to do a mental health assessment on you.
Well, yeah, this is the one where I just came out of a radio interview for Ferrety Radio. This was early on when the first lockdown occurred. So in Brixton for Ferrety Radio. So I came, it was as if they must have been waiting for me, because with a matter of 2 minutes down the road, they stopped me. So we're arrested, Brixton police station, and then I showed them all the paperwork. I wouldn't talk to them. I wouldn't get a lawyer. They tried to force legal onto me. So in the end, they put me through to this mental health nurse. And she was a horrible nurse anyway. She was on their side. So they gave me 3 warnings. They said, I'm going to give you 3 warnings. Okay? 3 opportunities. And on the 3rd one, we will then deal with whatever we need to deal with. This is how he said it, the officer. So they were in the room with me, and one of the officers who arrested me was there. So the nurse was asking me questions, and I said, can you please just show me the paperwork, and then we can continue. That's all I was saying.
Yeah.
To them, that was mental. I'm a madman asking these questions. She's asking me one question, and I'm asking her a question. So then they have to qualify as a madman. So in the end, they qualified that, yes, you require some form of mental health assessment.
Wow.
So
they made their own determination.
Yeah, just there, and then the police said, yes, you require it. Oh, brilliant. Anyway, I received a letter to say that you will receive a visit from mental health on this particular day. Well, this is the beauty of it. The day that they were supposed to attend, they didn't, because they attended on a day that I wasn't present. They attended uninvited on a day that they didn't agree.
So they're physically trespassing into your house, so they want to do a mental health assessment. Unbelievable.
They visited the property and I wasn't present. Who was present? Okay, my mother and her carer. So whatever they wanted to ask me, they spoke to the carer of my mother. Whatever they said was superb, because I received a letter to say, we don't feel it necessary to continue with this mental health. We find that there is no issue with you. You will not be hearing from us. Beautiful. So you attempted to get me under mental health.
Can you imagine, Karen? Just imagine
someone round on a day that you were not supposed to attend, and then you were satisfied with my mother and her carers response, but not through me. So they witnessed the life that I lead and what I have to do on a daily basis with my mother and the carer. You understand? They witnessed.
But that's not the issue. That's not the issue for me. The issue is, on what authority were they involved in your life? What authority they trespass on your property? Because everything is based on the fact you are the prosecution when you did not.
But with mental health, this is what they say. This is what they told me. Anyone can make a report to mental health to say this person we feel that this
yes, but what
an assessment. That's what they did. They moved through with that. That was all it was.
But can you imagine how many people are being given up?
How many?
Basically, they're part of a, what do you call it? A network of bad people. You know, because if they don't want you, they make a fake assessment on you. And then they say you're not competent to speak in court. So that means you can't defend yourself. They'll put you in a madhouse, give you whatever drugs and medicine. And before you know it, you're very sick or dead. You know, the mental health fraud is a huge problem. Because the mental health people now got a responsibility, if you complain to them or give them the information, to go back and investigate if they were being used as a revenge because you've asked for the prosecution or you asked for the warrant. Yeah. So the police are using the mental health people as a revenge attack on you. Yeah. Because if they're prosecuting people on fake things and fake warrants, surely they have a mental health problem. Isn't it?
They all have mental issues, but it's a mental health act.
I'll say just to highlight another factor on what with the Mental Health Act. I mean, Carol Woods was blowing the whistle on councillors. The very same councillors hired the CPS to create section 135, which was a fraudulent document. The court had admitted that they never created it, yet the police enforced that document, put her in, and got her straight onto a section 2, then to a section 3, so that they could never have to show the section 135, which was a fraudulent document in the first place. Therefore, obviously, the people in the hospital, by just logical sense, because there was no more sane a woman than Carol Woods. She was a beautiful lady and still is. Yeah. And they signed her off as incompetent because of the documents from previously where they tried to do it before to her, where they had done it before. So they was using old documents, nothing of what it was. And they never had an authentic document in the first place. It was just a print. It was just a printout. And it was told to them, and they continued it anyway. So they're all in with it. And the same goes again with John Patterson. Exactly what they did to him. So they are all in it. So just like your pyramid of triangle, actually in that pyramid of triangle, we should also include in there the killer blow, which is the mental health card, because that's what they're going to pull on you when you've put them on the spot, and they now have to provide the final straw is calling you crazy because you're asking for them to prove their claim, which they can't. So then they hit you with the mental health fraud. So
they deem you as the madman for questioning them.
Yeah,
that's right. That's exactly
when you question our authority. Hang on, we're
asking for the warrant.
Yeah,
we're asking for the prosecution. We're asking for the claim. Simple.
Make the claim. Show it to us. Exactly. So their card, in terms when you get arrested, and if you don't agree to have legal, you're deemed a madman. So they put the mental health card, and that. It's the same as when you get arrested. If you don't listen to the police officers, what is their card that they got you with? Police obstruction. Every single time you'll get done with police obstruction. Every case that you see coming through to the courts, magistrate, police obstruction will be thrown in on that. That's the first thing they get you with, and then they throw everything else after that.
And that's how they get this other point, because the reason why if you don't get it, if you don't have a lawyer, then they'll put the mental health card on you, because having a lawyer is no different than having mental health against you. Because you didn't.
That's true.
There was no difference.
When you sign the lawyer's agreement, it means you're not competent. Yeah, so the lawyer can sign you off, do everything without your further consent. They claim it's like a power of attorney, basically, that you're not competent to deal with your own affairs.
So you've just put a complete gag on your mouth now. You're now silent, just like putting you in a mental health ward makes you silent because everything you say is nothing. And that's exactly what you do by having a lawyer. Once you have a lawyer, that's it, you're done. You're in.
Well, in my interview, I think that one is called Hell in the Cell. I put it, I didn't take their lawyer because the lawyer won't ask for their thing. So I asked the police officer in the interview, the video is on the internet somewhere. I asked him, where is the court order? So he pulled out a thing. He said, I have an order here signed by the judge. I said, show me the sign. Where did it sign? Where is it signed? He said, oh, when I say sign, I don't mean sign.
Exactly. This is the thing. They don't have to sign now. They all say to you, we don't have to sign the paperwork anymore because of this corona. There was a legislation put through. So when I was sent to Greenwood that 1 week, the court clerk said paperwork doesn't need to be signed anymore. Legislation. I'll go, fine, present that legislation.
Well, prove to me that it's legitimate. Who is responsible and accountable? It must be bloody signed. You give me a check and don't sign it. See what happens.
Exactly. The bank are going to tell you to get out. So it's the same with this paperwork. There's no signature. There's no authenticity to it. No accountability. No credibility.
Yeah, it's words. It's words. If you accept it, then that's. I mean, you've got. It's like everything else. Everything they do, they're going to say it. And if you don't, then you acquiesce to it. Then you've agreed to it.
Well, let me tell you something. There was a case very recently. A police officer was sent to jail for forging the judge's signature on a warrant. So it does have to be bloody signed. Yeah, has to be signed and sealed, and they must be computer records. It must be the whole track for the train to run on. Yeah. So anyway, so Tariq, then after the next chapter in your book is
Well, tomorrow.
they
Next
kept
chapter is tomorrow.
they kept coming to your house and you installed video camera. They kept coming and climbing up on your
That's
roof.
right. Since then, I've installed the security camera so I can receive alerts. I know who's coming and I can talk to them through the camera. So, and it
Yeah.
records all movement. But what happened in that time I had the camera, I have neighbours, very good neighbours who look out for us because they know my mother's not well. They know I care for her. So they know the situation. They know that I'm not criminal. They know I'm fighting the system. This is why they're doing it. So they keep an eye out for me. Unknown to me, when I came home one evening, it was late. So the next morning, my neighbour said, I saw 4 or 5 police officers. They were sneaking in and out of your garden on top of the roofs and everything. Knock on the window. They started to go into my garden.
Wow.
Look into the side window in one of the bedrooms to find this because they were out to arrest me on that warrant regarding the actual paperwork they tried to serve on me.
Alleged warrant.
The false warrant. The false warrant.
And well, they even tried to the alleged court order regarding stalking protection order. So they are saying that I did not appear in court. This is on the record. You did not turn up.
Failing to
Well,
appear.
I did. I
You
did
were
turn
there.
up
You
to
were
court.
there.
You wouldn't allowed me access because I had an electric scooter.
Yeah, but then they told you to send. They told you to send in an email, and you did, no?
I sent the email. Then I went in to say, look, I'm going to be late, but I'm coming with electric scooter. I am injured. But when I went to court, they wouldn't allow me access. So they said, no, we're going to have to try upstairs to see if they'd let you access.
So there was a
And they
warrant.
said no.
There was a warrant for failing to appear. So have you seen the warrant?
No. Also, there was also the arrest was for, so DC Emily Martin of Metropolitan Police, Hammersmith, instructed Surrey Police to arrest me. This was after I had spent a week in prison.
Yeah.
Because when I was in prison, they put the paperwork in my bag in the property, which then gets stored. You have no access to it. But I said, no, I want access to my legal documents. You can't deny me that, which they did.
Unbelievable. That's
this
a human rights
paperwork they tried
article.
to serve on me for a number of weeks. This is when one of the officers posted a little card to say, you are not wanted. Please call me. Fine, not wanted, but you're turning up at my house at 2, 3 in the morning.
They drop a card saying you're not wanted, and yet they've been frequenting your home and climbing up and trespassing on a regular basis. Saying so now, Tariq, is very important. You're not wanted, but they wanted you.
This is it.
You were not legally or lawfully wanted, but they wanted you or lawfully.
They got me with an arrest, another false arrest. So they did. So when I was
before they arrest you, let me see if I can share the screen.
So by logic dictates then the ones that did come, they were not the police. They were, by all intents and purposes, but they more than likely were off duty and they were working in the private, doing what they did to you.
Aye, like what they did to me with the car. Yeah. They come in the
car. They did one of the warrants, didn't they? With Marston, sent me letters saying we have a warrant to execute and we can arrest you at any time. It wasn't from the police. So yes, they're private gangs there. Private gangs.
But in the end, after you go do a few inquiries with them, what did they say? The Marstons?
Oh, we couldn't find anything. They
said we're not pursuing it anymore. Yeah.
So they sent me a letter to say we have a warrant, and I said, okay, can you please now provide me all the paperwork? And they come back, we don't see any paperwork. We don't have any paperwork, so we cannot continue. So thank you very much. Brilliant.
So bottom line is they left you alone. Because you could have faced a false arrest, being in the appeal court for another 5 years, and all that.
This is the thing. I was arrested. Marston didn't arrest me.
No, I know, but that one died.
That one there,
yeah.
In that respect, because
it
was executed by Surrey.
So I'm just trying to show when you ask the right question, it's the fastest way to get some answers. Right? Don't wait for the court date. Don't wait for the court date. Is a slaughterhouse. You do your stuff by correspondence. Ask them for this. Ask them for that. Where's the warrant? What did you file in court? That's basically, you can take down any false case with that. You know. But let's have a look what DC Martin gave you. I think we have
DC Emily Martin.
Yeah. After some time before they arrested you. So one time they told you, where is it? I know, here it is. Oh no. There is
This one?
let me see.
What about the letters she sent me? 13.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll get it on the screen because I have it all here nicely somewhere. Boom, boom, boom.
All
Okay.
this time, Tariq, if you asked them if they're on their oath, any of
Have
these?
I asked them if they're on their oath?
Yeah.
Every time I ask the judge. Yeah. And my recent appearance in, was it last month, 6 weeks ago, Magistrates, Westminster, DC Emily Martin was the one leading the hearsay. So basically, hearsay was often to do with paperwork. She was expecting a win through hearsay by saying to the judge, we want this, that, and he'll go, yes, okay. I asked him if he was under his oath, and I also asked him, we would like Emily Martin to stand in the box under oath and swear to what she is saying. And the judge's response, oh,
that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. Yeah, we know that.
Well, no. It does happen because if you look up the document of the police officers who have been prosecuted and jailed, it's a very thick book. It's thousands. It is happening, but not enough, maybe. And there are some good officers out there, I must say. But this is the document, yeah? Where she said, in regarding for the offenses you are arrested for, the CPS has made the decision that no further action will be taken against yourself in regards to this.
So what was I arrested for on the 2nd? So since it's not clear, I have to now just clarify it for all the viewers. I was arrested for, it was stalking or harassment from the individual, Miss Cuesta, and a couple other things. They tried to.
You were not just.
I untied her boat, allegedly, the boat that I was working on. So there was a business transaction. She was a member of Stand Up X. So she was assisting me when I delivered Barron's case law and Anthony's letters at Downing Street last August. So she was with me. She wanted something. She was biting into it and she was grateful. So she gave me opportunity by saying I have a boat. That's how I got into working on the canals. And obviously it went sour. So they tried to say I did this, that, and that. So there was a number of things I was arrested for and questioned. And that include one of them was the stalking and the boat, etc. I was only arrested once for a number of factors. So on that date that I was arrested for a number of factors, they have clearly stated no further action will be taken against yourself in regards to this.
Yeah, so that's what it says here.
Arrested on two occasions.
But Tariq, let's just dig a little deeper into this, yeah? No further action will be taken. It was decided by the CPS. No further action, yeah? Because according to them, they had a prosecution against you. You had trials coming up. You had all this stuff. So where is the prosecution that they have gonna take no further action on? Where is it? Have you received it?
Because in the stalking protection order hearsay hearing, she was putting forward 29 conviction cases.
Yes, beautiful.
We questioned. So when we question that, all right, fine. You want that in your application? I would like to see the 29 that I have not seen.
The 29 layoff information.
Exactly.
Have they produced
in your application? Present it.
How many have they produced?
0.
The same thing they did with George. They said you have 18 previous convictions, and he did the same thing. And the same thing comes, they drop the case because they're making a huge perjury statement. Yeah, because it's 18 fake counterfeit prosecutions. They cannot prove a single one, and they're using it against you again. So here it is. You were arrested for this and that. It does says you were arrested. They never said you were prosecuted, Tariq. You see how to read between the lines. They shy away from the word prosecuted. And now they said the CPS have made the decision. No further action will be. So the CPS took some action already, according to this. So where is it? Where is the layer of information? Understand?
This is what we're going to be finding out tomorrow now.
You won't find out. It don't exist.
Well, this is the beauty, because now tomorrow is the hearing, pre-hearing for the appeals on 3 of the cases.
Now, can I just qualify this a little bit? You came out of jail and you've been arrested. They arrested you after this letter, yeah? They came to your house and wrestled you to the ground and dragged you off and locked you up for 10, how many days?
Oh, I spent, 7 days in prison. And
7 days.
In custody. So it's about 9 days in total.
9 days and 9 nights, yeah? And then this is after they gave you this letter. And then you came out and you made a decision in the moment that you're going to make an appeal against all this in the Crown Court.
As soon as I was released.
Hang on. Yeah. Very important. You didn't make the appeal because you wanted to appeal. You made the appeal because there was all the other effort to prove the case or the existence of a valid prosecution. You did not get a response, and they are still locking you up without a prosecution, without a trial, without nothing. Yeah. So you went in the appeal court under desperation, but I must point out it doesn't mean that there was a valid claim against which you're appealing. You're just trying to clear your name.
But it's not just clearing my name, it's now bringing those individuals who have put me through this process without producing any legal and lawful documents to now stand trial themselves. This is what they have been trying to do for the last 4 years. I've been trying to get a jury trial, and every time I get from magistrate, no, we'll keep it here. So they've managed to do what they have done to me in that time, but now because they didn't expect this move. Because whilst I was in prison, I did write a letter to the governor to say, now, this is an illegal detainment. Produce the paperwork or release me. Now, I'm now on a file. I would like to gain access to legal paperwork, and one of them is a writ. Okay, where for illegal detainment, and I wanted to file a writ, a certiorari. This is what I actually filed. Gave the instruction to a lawyer at that time when I was using a lawyer 7 years ago against my ex-wife. When they held me 3 months, I then said, file the writ of certiorari, which is telling the lower court, well, you're telling the higher court, listen, you need to now take over because the lower court, which at the time was Crown Court, because I wanted to go to High Court, they're not fit for purpose. They're not producing none of this. And in a matter of days, my family knew it. I was released, exonerated. Now,
well done, fantastic.
I did exactly the same here. Now, immediately I went straight to the courts and filed the appeal. Well, this is the beauty. 4 years ago, whilst I was going through this process, there's a young man who just started the job and he was very helpful. This time I wanted to deal with some paperwork. This lady didn't recognize certain court case numbers that were on the paperwork they'd given me. She says, I don't recognize that. That's nothing right. Let me go downstairs to the admin office. Went to the admin office. Someone came out and it was the gentleman's chap. He recognized my name. Obviously, he had a mask on. I didn't recognize him at all or his voice, but he recognized my name and goes, I remember you. And the first thing he said was, I want to thank you because you made me feel very comfortable and you helped me a lot and I learned a lot when you were asking certain things to be dealt with a number of years ago. So he was thankful. So we began on the right foot, on the right. So then he helped me fill in this appeal form. So we filled it in, and that's now gone to Crown. Now we've got 3 of the appeals now gone to the Crown Court, where we're now asking for a jury trial. Where now all the police officers, CPS, probation, every single one of those individuals that are involved are now going to come in. Obviously, they're going to try their double best to try not to get into the.
They're going to try and frustrate the
Well, they're
trial.
going to try to throw it out, but this
Blame
time,
you for not complying with some
yes, but
minor.
this is what I got. Now, we have been talking about don't get a lawyer. Well, listen, there are certain times you are going to need a lawyer because you can't get past a certain hurdle. And that's happened to me numerous, only because of who I am now. They know who I am. My face is circulating. For me to go and do what I did with Barron's and your paperwork at Downing Street, they know I mean business. So they're going to silence me. This is what they're doing, silencing me. But you're not silencing anyone else when they're producing paperwork.
Yeah,
you're not arresting them. You're not locking them up at all, but you're locking me up. Why? So there's a lawyer. So when I was arrested in the second time regarding this letter, I wanted to present myself. So I went in there. I wouldn't play by ball, and I asked for the paperwork. And they said, right, take him back down because obviously he's not playing ball. Okay. I said, then they tried to put legal onto me.
Yeah.
So a female legal advisor came down. I say, look, I've been asked by the courts to come out and go, I didn't ask you. Did I instruct you? We go, no. So what are you doing here then? What are you going to do for me? Or what did the court ask you to do for me or for them? Well, I said, okay, I'll give you a chance. I'm a fair man. Can you now go to the courts and say, I'll require this, that, and that?
Get me the prosecution papers.
I can't do that because I've got to go. You can't do too much.
Imagine a lawyer is gonna help you with the prosecution and he can't get the prosecution papers. What a scam. How dumb are we as a whole nation?
So as she was being released from the holding cells, etc., she was leaving the door, and one of the head guys for Serco who look after you happened to notice the lawyer that I'd asked for. I go, I don't want no lawyer, but if he's around, tell him I would like to see him. His name's David Castle of the Castle Partnership. It's in Guildford, right next door to Crown Court, Guildford.
Okay.
And he is one of the best, if not the best. You got to see him in action because everyone is scared of him. He doesn't lose. He wins every single time. And he knows who I am.
But there is nothing to win. There is no case.
No, nothing to win. But he was the one. Remember, his name's David as well. David Castle. No, it was 7 years ago when he was assisting me. I thought, I've got to get him against my ex-wife. And we were having this discussion, and he just said, David, where's the justice? He goes, forget justice. There is no justice. It's a system.
Is that what the lawyer told you? There is no justice.
He told me. That's why. Yes. He told me that. He goes, I work my way around it and I win. So he knows. He hates the police. He hates the police with a passion. He hates the system. Trust me, he does. He's on the bordering retirement, and he goes, I'm going to Switzerland after this.
Well, so, if you're working in
I was in the holding cell, I was in the holding cell 2 weeks ago, when the Serco asked him, I go, look, there's a Tariq Zahiv here. Wants to say, tell him I'll come and see him in a minute. He knows who I am. He comes back down. Well, first things first, the lawyer will come and see you before they go and see CPS. No, he didn't do this. He went and found out first what was going on before he come to see me. He goes, I went and spoke to everyone. Now, he did mention about this stalking order that they tried to serve on me. He said, they did serve it on you correctly. They have done, and this is how it is. But I said,
wait. I have to interrupt. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
They did serve it on you correctly, but did they serve you counterfeit documents? That's the question.
Yeah, that's another thing. Well,
no, that's the main thing, because that's not going to make you whether it's a valid case or not.
That's the thing. So anyway, he just went on, and I just let him say what he wanted to do because he had to do with it. He came in and said, I'm doing this as a freebie for you.
Okay.
Because he likes me. He knows that I'm fighting that system. Every time I get arrested, he knows I haven't done anything wrong. It's that I'm in their face.
Yeah.
So he's been dealing with a lot of things for me, and he's dealing with it right now. Now, I said to him, David, we're taking this to the jury trial. The reason being, here's all the paperwork. They've got it in the system. I don't have it on me. They've denied my paperwork. They've also stolen it. In the magistrates, we went in there and they tried their double best to say, no, for the trial, we've got to try and keep hold of him because he hasn't been turning up on these dates, etc., etc. He got up and said to the court, "God, you don't like him, do you?" Literally, he said, "Oh," like, and he's sitting there just comfortable.
Right.
Let them say what they've got to say, then he'll get up and deliver it. Now, listen, there were 2 new Serco staff, who are the people who look after you in the holding cells. They know who I am as well, because the name and the words got around about how I go in and fight them. And I'm dealing with them, destroying them at times. So these newbies came up. So usually you only need to be taken up by 1 Serco staff. No, this time there was 3 or 4. So 2 of them were inside their box with me, another 2 outside, because they wanted to hear what was going on. And as they all dealt with it, I got unconditional bail. I said, "Okay, we'll see you on the 16th, blah, blah, this and that." David dealt with it. Those Serco staff came out and they said, "Oh, he's good, isn't he? He's good." Just like that. Because they saw David Carson in action, and I said, "Have you ever seen him?" Because there's no one like it. And there isn't. He's what you call the Perry Mason.
He's the one in a million.
Well.
One in a million.
He is. He's just like your... Who was the one that gave me free legal aid? Michael Mansfield QC. He was the one that stuck his fingers up the establishment. They tried to do a move with his son as well and tried to frame him, and he said, no. So basically, they're on that level. David Carson is on that level. He doesn't lose. So this time, we are now going forward. We've now got them where we want them to. Now, David will do his best to get it to the Crown, because now it's way above magistrate court's pay grade now. You've dealt with it once. You tried to keep it in magistrate. Said, "No, we feel we have enough jurisdiction." You don't, because you dealt with it on this case, and you've ignored all of this. You sent me to prison. Even David said I shouldn't have been to prison, but I sent me to prison because they don't like me. Physically, don't like me. Any opportunity, they will send me to prison. So this time, they did ask, "Where do you want it?" I said, "Crown, no other place." So it's gone to Crown now. This is what we got tomorrow. So. In terms of the hearing, this is what happened.
You've had some success. You had some success in the Crown Court before.
I've had many successes there. But this is what happened recently. There was an alleged hearing on the 3rd of August that I should have been in attendance. I knew nothing about. So David Castle, who's the main Crown Court guy, he just happened to be there on that day. Saw my name on the listing. Oh, he's not around. Okay, I'll go and then deal with it. The reason why he went and dealt with it, another freebie in the matter he does, is because we already successfully got the 16th of August court hearing, appeal date. So because he saw these others, he said, "Okay, I dealt with it," and I then coincided it with the 16th. So we're dealing with 3 tomorrow. 3. 3 cases, appeals tomorrow.
And they're, as far as you know, they're all fake cases that allegedly started in the magistrate, and they can't produce the prosecution.
Exactly. So what I have asked for now in the appeal process is, the reason is I have not been served. I have not seen any of the paperwork, and it's necessary that everyone involved in the case, in producing these so-called cases that went to magistrate, now need to stand trial, because they have ignored all my demands. And the time that they've ignored my demands, they have sent me to prison, incarcerated. And they've caused my mother, who's disabled with cancer. I'm the main key worker carer, and you've now left my mother alone, a vulnerable person alone, a patient alone. Come on, no. You now need to be questioned. How did you do this? Why did you do this?
Can you imagine, Tariq, how many people they are doing this to right now as we're talking? This minute. How many people are being thrown into vans right now saying they have warrants and court cases, and it's not true?
People are having their children taken off them. How many people are having their house taken off them right now? Because to say it's across the globe, isn't it? And it's all being done by the same process. And
the system. That's the system.
Well, we're doing our bit. We're doing our little bit, and we want everybody to join us, because you can't let your children grow up in this. You might as well don't have children, because they're growing up in a system where your life, your privilege, your assets, everything just be taken. So let's try and make this a better place. Shall we call it a day, guy? Thanks for everyone who tunes in, and I hope you've gained something from it. And
Anthony,
It's simply
Pleasure.
being the lighthouse.
Good to see you again.
It's simply being
See
the
you soon.
lighthouse.
So let's do an update. Possibly Tuesday, because tomorrow I'm in court. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
do
we
an
do
update.
we do an update when
Coming
we
on.
can.
We'll do an update.
We're gonna try and make some kind of call-in program because we've got so many people asking us things. But listen, man, God bless. We'll catch you later.
Okay.
Bless you.
God bless, mate.
Assalamu alaikum.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye bye.